Hi, I am Krylios, producer and MC for Team Rayceen Productions. And today, for our Team Rayceen catch-up interviews with our candidates, we have...
Patrick Kennedy, candidate in Ward 2.
How are you today, Patrick?
Doing wonderful. A little bit of cabin fever. I think we've all
Uh-huh.
been inside a little too long at this point, but doing what we can, to flatten the curve and make sure we get beyond this.
Same here, same here, same here. So let me know, how has the pandemic, changed or impacted the campaign or the election process?
It's certainly changed the medium, but I don't think it's changed the message. I mean, I think
Mm.
we've tried to stay very consistent with our campaign. It's been very values driven and about connecting with our neighbors. We were
Mm-hmm.
doing a lot of in-person meet and greets beforehand. We were knocking on a lot of doors in the ward. Obviously, those are off the table, but we've just switched to just different means of communicating with people, doing
Mm.
virtual things like this with our neighbors,
Yes.
banking, those sorts of things, just to continue that connection with people, because that's really what elections are about. It's about connecting with people and doing
Yes.
what you possibly can to make those connections, even when you can't do it physically.
Yeah, that makes sense, definitely. So what has changed since the last time we interviewed you? We did that, some months ago. And what have you learned during the campaign process so far?
I think that we've really learned that, the people of this ward are ready for a change. I think when we last had our discussion, the race was just at a different point there. But I
Mm-hmm.
think people are really excited about the future. Obviously, with the coronavirus, I mean, that's an immediate impact on the race in terms of just people's concerns.
Mm-hmm.
We're looking at potentially huge impacts on our economy, huge impacts on our public health, and that's front of mind for the vast majority of people. I mean, it's our everyday existence now.
Yeah.
Trusted leadership is more important than ever in that sort of context. Knowing your neighbors and those sorts of things.
Mm-hmm.
We've learned that there's a lot of concern and anxiety about the future, and I think people are just really looking for leadership, to give them a sense of comfort that we can move
Yeah.
beyond this time, that we can address, the public health crisis that we're facing, and that better days are going to be ahead.
That makes sense. That is true. That is true. Good words to live by. So the mayor is encouraging people to vote by mail. So do you think this is a good idea, and how do you think it will impact the election?
Yeah, I do think it's a good idea. I think it's really, it's the only thing that we could do under the circumstances. I
Yeah.
think we don't want, 140 polling places opened up and, people going down the street, interacting with
Yes.
neighbors and standing in close proximity. So, in-person voting is definitely something that I think that we want to discourage this year. But I think the obligation is going to be on all of us to make sure that people secure their franchise and that they still vote, even though it's not as easy as, on election day, walking down to the same precinct they might have voted in for the last, several decades in some cases. That you have to put a little more forethought into requesting your ballot, filling
Mm-hmm.
out your ballot and turning your ballot in, at the appropriate time. So there's a lot more moving parts, I think, to the election now that we're doing it
Yes.
over mail.
Mm-hmm.
And so that gives, I think, a lot more work to all of us. And it's not just on the Board of Elections. It's not just on the people who are in office now. It's on us as candidates
Yes.
to make sure that we're walking our supporters through how to vote. And not just our supporters, really just voters and residents at large. Because I think regardless of who you're going to vote for, I mean, we want people to vote. We want people
Yes.
to turn out. This election is really important. We haven't had an election like this in Ward 2 with as many candidates and as competitive of a race in 30 years. And so we want everybody to take part in that, because your vote is going to count in this election in
Yeah,
a way that it hasn't
definitely.
for decades.
Definitely. Well, thanks so much. So please share how people can learn more about you and can support your campaign.
Yeah, thank you. So you can find me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is PLKDC. On Facebook, you can like our page. It's Patrick for Ward 2. And our website, which I highly encourage everybody to check out, is
Mm-hmm.
patrickforward2.com. That's my first name, Patrick, 4 spelled out FOR, and then ward2.com.
Mm-hmm.
I encourage folks to check us out. We'd love to have your support. Please feel free to contact me too. You can contact me through my website, but I'd love to have a conversation with your viewers and anybody that's interested in connecting with us.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Well, thanks so much for joining me today, Patrick.
A pleasure.
And you can see Patrick's first video with us here on the Team Rayceen YouTube channel. that we did just some weeks ago. So that's also lovely. So thank you for watching.